Good Thursday afternoon, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to the I Love CVille Show. We're live in Charlottesville, across Albemarle County, Central Virginia, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love CVille Network, presented and powered thanks to our friends at Ting Crazy Fast Internet. Judah Wickhauer is our director, and my friend, let's cut straight to the chase with Elliott Harding in the house, a man who can banter about just about any topic. First, my friend, good afternoon.
Good to see you, Jerry. Thanks
How
for
are
having
you?
me back on. I'm great. Doing well. Busy.
Let's talk with Ralph. Start with Ralph. Governor Northam says that if cases continue to drop, I'm going to start lifting capacity restrictions and social distancing measures next month.
Yeah.
Open-ended. What do you make of that?
I'm excited for it. I think it's a long time coming. This area is, I think, set to explode. A lot of pent-up demand. Friends throughout Virginia, from outside of Virginia, that have been itching to come see Charlottesville. And so I'm ready to get back to Fridays after 5. I'm ready to see, folks enjoying all that we have, whether it be outside or, getting back to the movies even, things like that. I just got my vaccine last week. I know that, if you're out there and you're waiting for a particular kind, go get it. I think that we will open up to full capacity right away. I don't like the idea of easing restrictions, though. I'm ready to just rip that Band-Aid off and get rid of all the restrictions come June 15th, I hope.
So June 15th is the date. If the cases continue to drop, the governor will lift all capacity and social distancing measures on June 15th and is evaluating the mask mandate.
I think if you're going to be lifting the social capacity and the distancing, and that point the numbers have dropped, hopefully with enough vaccines and enough immunity, I think the masks could, hopefully those are going to be gone very quickly too.
What's your take, Central Virginia? Put your comments in the feed. We will relay them on air here on the I Love CVille Show. We'll get to these comments. Give the show a like and a share as well. June 15th, I think, is going to be a welcome date for all of us. Albemarle County is leading the Commonwealth from a vaccination standpoint. We're approaching we're over 50% of the county has at least one shot. The city of Charlottesville's third in the Commonwealth, so certainly we're getting inroads. I just thought the June 15th was, you don't think it's too soon?
No. I think, and you just spoke to those numbers, I think they're only going to keep going up as far as the vaccination levels. I think, June 15th, it's about 5-6 weeks away. The numbers are moving at a very quick pace in the positive direction. I think given the types of activities people like to do in the summer, being out and about, I think that the threats will be gone by then.
Keith Smith, hello. Welcome to the show. Thank you for liking and sharing the broadcast, my friend. We are going to get to your question here for Elliott. Laura Coppinger, we promise we will, and she has a question on cannabis. And interestingly, we were talking about that in our pre-production meeting. I will ask the attorney that question, Laura. Before we do, Pete Snyder, GOP convention.
Yeah, so Pete Snyder's one, he's a local guy.
Yeah, Rugby Road.
Yeah, moved to Charlottesville 2 years ago. He, along with several others, there's a GOP convention on Saturday. So we will see who the nominee will be. But insofar as the candidates, there's one at least in our backyard. So that's kind of a local tie-in there. But it's going to be unlike anything we've seen from a counting standpoint, because people are going to about 40 different locations throughout Virginia to go vote. If you're a Charlottesville voter, you're going all the way up to Madison County High School to do it.
The Charlottesville voter in the Republican convention, what determines governor, is going to Madison County.
Yep. And it's because they've broken out the various. It's called an unassembled convention. It's somewhat of an oxymoron, but in light of COVID and in light of their desire to maintain a party-run convention-style model, people are going all the way up to Madison from this area to vote, and then what will happen is the party's then going to ship all the votes to a central location in Richmond, and given all the talk of voter security and election integrity, it'll probably be the most paranoid vote count in the history of vote counts in light of 2020, and so the RPV's got a lot of work on their hands, I would say. We're not going to know a winner on May 8th. It'll be several days in the making, I think.
Neil Williamson, Free Enterprise Forum. Hello, welcome to the show. We love you, Neil. Who do you think's is the favorite?
Well, conventions are an interesting thing.
Do you like conventions?
There are pros and cons to every style, I'll say. Insofar as this race is concerned, for the first time ever, they are implementing ranked choice voting. And because of that, you'll have it so that 100% of the delegates will have their votes counted for every round, where typically a convention you go and you spend hours listening to speeches, you wait for the votes to tabulate round by round, and there's usually some loss there. Some atrophy, some folks will leave, they'll get tired, maybe their candidate dropped out. This style, every voter will have their vote counted for every round, and that'll have a material impact, I think, as to who wins. In this type of a convention, some people, they're always running to be number one, but a strong move is to run to be everyone's number two, because that means as others fall away, if you're number two, round by round by round, you're eventually going to be the winner. So I think it's going to be a close race. Kirk Cox was a former Speaker of the House in Virginia. He has a lot of networks of elected officials and voters and donors throughout Virginia. But Pete Snyder, again, has made a lot of rounds over the years, working on behalf of different candidates and helping the party. It'll be a tight race, but we will probably even won't know a winner for several days until afterwards.
Anybody beat McAuliffe?
It's going to be an uphill climb, I'll say that much. If this is this is the year to do it, though, I mean, they have a record to point to. Terry McAuliffe isn't though he is by far the favorite to win that nomination. There are a lot of folks within the Democratic Party who are not big fans of the former governors, maybe to be governor again. And so there's a lot to point to, a lot of disgruntled folks, a lot of disenchanted folks with maybe some of the choices he made back in the past. And I think it'll be an interesting contrast for sure. It just really comes down to how much of a message and how many ideas and a vision an opponent will be able to deliver.
Commonwealth, blue, we know. City of Charlottesville, we know is blue.
Yeah.
We were talking off air how the Democratic wave has certainly spread into Albemarle.
Yeah.
How have you seen, you are passionate about local politics, how have you seen Albemarle County change in its voter profile since you started following politics, which was what? When you were in high school.
You're right.
Right? To now. So you have 20 years of data that you can reference here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, gone are the days of George Allen being the local delegate or the congressman and then the governor coming out of, the Albemarle County area, with whether it be due to gerrymandering or transitions in voters. You've seen some Republicans stay in office. Delegate Rob Bell has kept a strong hold on the 58th district that he represents. But as far as Albemarle County as a whole, I think historically an area that had a more moderate-leaning Republican vibe maybe 20 years ago has shifted, and that has a lot to do with folks moving into the area. It has a lot to do with the parties moving and what it is they say they stand for. And so, it really comes down to the message of each candidate, and it comes down to platform and vision and drive and being able to get out there and connect. And right now we have very polarized politics, and so I think this area historically tends to look for less extremities in the margins and people that are a little bit more pragmatic in their views and are really focused on local issues and trying to help your day-to-day lives.
Trivia question.
Sure.
And you're going to hit this out of the park. I know you will. The last Republican governor was whom?
Oh, Bob McDonnell.
That's right.
Yeah.
The one before him?
Jim Gilmore.
Jim Gilmore.
Yeah.
The one before Jim?
George Allen.
There you go.
Yep.
I knew he was going to do that. A lot of people don't know that. The last Republican governor was Bob McDonnell, and it's been a little while.
Yeah, 8 years.
There's been, right? Since there's been a Republican in the governor's house. Throw this to you. Albemarle County, who was the last Republican on the Board of Supervisors? Is it Ronnie Thomas?
I believe so.
Ronnie Thomas.
Yeah.
So here's the question. City of Charlottesville.
Or Ken Boyd.
All right, we were talking about that yesterday. It was Ken Boyd.
Yeah, sorry.
Rio District, Ken Boyd. So here's the question. Can someone win a seat on the board in Albemarle or on the dais in the city as a Republican with an R next to them, their name? I asked Steve Harvey that question.
Well, the city and the county are very different in the sense that the county, has the magisterial district or the ward system of voting, right? So that it's not all at large. And therefore it comes down to which district you're talking about and who lives where. And I think a Republican can win in the county. In the city, it's an uphill battle. It would take a very unique message, and it would take a lot of work, I'll say that much. But the county, again, it's an uphill battle. We just saw folks running on both tickets last time. Steve Harvey, as you mentioned, Mike Callahan ran as a Republican in the Scottsville district, as you well know. And so with that, the results, though, went Democratic. And so I think, I don't know if it's a reflection of the party, if it's a reflection of the candidates. I think it's possible. It just all comes down to which district and which candidates and which platforms you're touching on. I think the county voters are looking for people that are focused specifically on fixing the needs within their backyard. I don't think they're looking for folks to be running on some type of a national or statewide issue platform.
Interesting. This question's come in, and I promised her I would get to it. She's still watching, and she's still wants your answer. This is from Laura. She says, Jerry asked Elliott from a legal standpoint where he sees the cannabis market heading in Central Virginia.
Right.
So that's a broad question. I have some specific questions for you. Why don't we start with Laura's broad question?
Well, the unique thing about cannabis right now, forget what's about to change in July, and we'll get into that in a second. We live in the only health service area where the pharmaceutical licensing hasn't come to fruition.
Right.
And so, some folks may look on the news and think about Richmond or Tidewater area or Northern Virginia, where the pharmaceutical license holders have already
been established.
Yes, they've been established, they received their license, they've gone up and growing, and now they have dispensaries. Now, granted, you have to have a medical license.
Can you explain to them what the pharmaceutical license means?
Sure. It means that you've been recognized as having a medical need or a medical benefit from the use of cannabis. You've spoken to a doctor, you've paid your dues for that license or that registration, and you can go in and purchase from the pharmaceutical license holder. In this area, it was originally granted to some folks who were going to put one up in Stanton, and I think that they were a little late in putting the wheels in motion on that, and so the state reopened the application process. They have yet to determine who they want to give that license to. Ironically, the original license holders are challenging whether or not they actually lost their license.
Is that the Stanton team?
I believe so, yeah. And so that's why you're not seeing medical or pharmaceutical dispensing in the Central Virginia area, is because that health service area has yet to be satisfied. Now, that'll likely change, but then soon, and so you'll see the pharmaceutical sales. But then, of course, come July, you can have home grow, up to 4 plants per household, and you can gift it to folks. Everyone has to be over 21. But you're not going to be seeing large recreational THC grows like you hear about in California or Colorado or what have you.
Can you cut that into a sizzle reel? That was good. Let's play that tomorrow, please. Neil Williamson has comments for you. The development areas of Albemarle County now dominate the magisterial districts. Does Elliott Harding believe the magisterial districts in Albemarle need to be revised? For example, the candidate that wins either Mill Creek and does well in Glenmore wins the Scottsville seat. Neil Williamson. We were actually talking about that. Topic for you from Neil. What do you make of that?
Well, as far as, we're coming out of a census. We're about to have the redraw of every other line in Virginia, whether they be congressional, House of Delegates, state Senate seats. So it stands to reason that every 10 years we should reassess, the population shifts within the county as a whole. Insofar as the different districts are, considered to be dominated by the voters closer to the urban ring, There's pros and cons to that in that every district holder also has a rural area, to some extent in their district as well. So they have to consider both. I don't know if it would be better off to have a purely rural seat at the table or not.
How could you do that?
You could carve.
Where would you carve?
You get pretty rural everything south of 64.
Yeah.
So, you could chop it up in a way where Mill Creek goes back into maybe the Samuel Miller district, and maybe the Scottsville district starts bleeding over a little bit more west of Route 20, and maybe brings in Esmond into it. There's certain ways that they could be reapportioned. It really just comes down to what you're going for. And, typically when we redraw lines at the state level, you want to have communities of interests, and you want to have compact districts, you want to have communities of interest. And so, Neil has a point. If Mill Creek and Glenmore are going to dominate the voting density of folks all the way down in Scottsville, those folks are living very different days. They're going to different.
So is Glenmore and Mill Creek.
Well, absolutely, yeah, and that's just that one district. But if you want to,
it's a unique district.
Very much so. It's one of the most unique. What's ironic about that is that from a state standpoint, the town of Scottsville has the same delegate as someone all the way up in Elkton, which that's a larger conversation. But as we see the state lines redrawn, it stands to reason that the county could use the magisterial district lines to at least be reconsidered.
What do you think of Scottsville? We were talking yesterday with Nancy Gill, former mayor of Scottsville. We had a lot that we unpacked with her. Best use of the tire plant, Dr. Charles Hurt's property. Best way to create more welcome density, not sprawl, but strategic growth.
Well,
and how to get jobs.
Yeah, I love Scottsville. It's got such a unique, atmosphere with the river right there. I've grown up going to James River Runners and tubing and things like that. To me, Scottsville's always had like a Tom and Huck kind of feel, kind of a Mark Twain throwback right there. And so I think the thing that Scottsville could use is internet. That's the big issue. Route 20 is a relatively dangerous road unless you're very used to it. It could probably use some spots to have some minor expansion just to make it more safe. But generally speaking, I think once broadband is throughout the area, which will come eventually, I think that's when you'll see things like the tire plant truly reconsidered. It'll become more of an attractive place generally for business development. But you don't want to lose the charm that it does have. I think it can just be enhanced and really emboldened. And I think that that's just going to come down to some basic resources.
Stephen wants to know your take on 6 seats on the board and how an even split means the policy or vote does not pass.
I hear that. That's an unfortunate matter. I would say that just goes down to a basic. I don't know what we would want to do there. Do we want to add one more? Do we want to add an at-large seat? The way that the Albemarle School Board has that, where they have their magisterial and then they have one at-large. I think that might have some weight to it, although it would totally change the type of race a candidate runs for that one particular seat. But yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it's good when they can't pass something, though, right? Gridlock is a friend. Sometimes. So it definitely creates some issues. I think if your motion is strong enough to pass, though, it'll probably get through.
Ward or district system for the city of Charlottesville, like we have in Albemarle, should that be the case in the city?
I believe so.
Why?
I believe that there are as small geographically as the city is in the grand scheme of things, I think that there are very diverse interests at stake. I think that there are portions of the city that go unrepresented due to the at-large nature. For example, which portions? Folks that are looking for housing development, right? Folks talk. I know affordable housing has always been a very big issue, but what ends up happening is because we have so many single-use zoning, Folks that are really suffering under housing costs or rental costs may lose their voice out to the folks, due to where they're located, may lose out because of the overall weight of the folks that don't want to see any development in the area. And so if you partition out the city into different ways, it could become a system where the interests of, let's say, the folks, on 10th and Page are going to be represented by their one counselor. Now, granted, it behooves every council member to do well for all parts of the city, but at least you know who you got to go talk to. At least you know who your voice is on city council. And you're talking about partisanship earlier. A lot of folks may feel like they have no representation on the city, particularly if they don't hold the views of everyone on city council due to whether it be partisan issues or policy prioritization. I also think, though, if we do go to that system, we should have an at-large strong mayor system, meaning you do both, right? So you get that at-large candidate who could be the manager of the city, effectively the way Richmond does it. And then you have your ward-based, more regional representation in a district system.
Keith Smith, watching the show, he says, here's some perspective for you guys. I just chatted with the general manager of Brazos Tacos. He said he sold more tacos last night than 2019 Cinco de Mayo by a 2x margin. Just saying. And by the way, he's short-staffed and is starting his team members at $20 an hour, and he cannot find any help. This comment comes in for you as well. Jerry, get Elliott's take on the revenue sharing agreement between the county and the city of Charlottesville. You know he's going to have a take on this.
Yeah. Yeah, my take on that is that I don't believe that it serves its purpose. It hasn't served its purpose till about 6 months after it was passed in the early 80s. The county is paying the city to forego an act, that being annexation, in which it cannot do due to a moratorium on annexation that's been in existence almost as long as the agreement. And so personally, I think the county has been subsidizing the city. And, folks, I live in the city. I think folks in the city certainly want those funds and those revenue, and they view it, and we want to be a collaborative atmosphere. We want Albemarle and Charlottesville to work together on things. But from a basic legal standpoint, it's odd that the county continues to pay for something that there is no consideration in the agreement. The state bars the city from annexing, and it's in perpetuity, which is also an issue from a contractual standpoint. So I've always thought it should be revised or renewed. If it's going to be renewed, I think the county is leaving something left to be desired when it comes to what it is they actually get out of the revenue share agreement.
For example?
Well, you mentioned, I know Councilor Snook was on here, last week? The idea of running the CAT system out into the county more.
That was a great idea.
Things like that. There's certainly a lot of overlap of resource allocation between the city and the county. I think the county could probably just demand that the monies be used in that fashion specifically, in a way that they're at least feeling like they're guaranteed to get their bang for their buck.
What do you think of this idea was bantered back and forth on the show last week as well? A more unified or uniformed police force that maybe has a joint venture or combination of city and university police and or county police to create a more robust and versatile unit. You're an attorney.
Yeah, I don't know if I understand the idea. I don't know if the two localities would be able to join their law enforcement in that manner. I don't know if, just thinking off the top of my head, I think Harrisonburg and Rockingham may have something similar to that. But generally, I would like to see, if we're going to talk about policing, I think there should be reforms generally across the board, and therefore that starts that conversation of if you want to have a collaborative police force, let's also take into consideration our community service board, our Region 10, and how can we maybe shift some of those funds into more mental health services and mental health responders, and training with all law enforcement, so that if the county and the city are going to be sharing their resources and sharing their policing, they're also revising who's responding to what and what resources are being spent where altogether. I don't think that'll happen, though. I just think that you've got two very different boards, or a council on a board. You have two different audiences and different concerns. The idea of a high speed, taking the road too fast, or drinking and driving out in the rural port, the dangers of some of the highways and byways in the county, those same issues aren't as robust here in the city. I mean, obviously, there are dangerous acts that can happen in the city, but the idea of someone, having more demand for policing or responders out and about in the county, they just have different issues. They have different concerns. I think it would be a little premature to think that they're going to go that route.
What do you make of, this is a topic that's going to come up with Kelly here. What do you make, and Kelly Jackson, guys, is moments away. What do you make of all the shootings that have been going on? There's been a lot.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's sad, and it's something that I think that has a lot to do more with, usually people know each other in those situations. People need to be able to have some different conflict resolution than escalating to violence. I don't think that that's a policing issue, in the sense that I don't think...
Well, see, that's the thing that's being the narrative. One of the narratives that is out there is that the CPD wants attention for these shootings to justify its budget. And we know its budget is very much in question right now. There's a defund the police movement that's loud and has momentum. And it's a topic that obviously council, the CPD, the Police Civilian Review Board are talking about it. So one narrative, certainly on Charlottesville Twitter, that's being spun is the CPD is issuing these press releases to justify that budget and the need for it.
Right. I mean...
You buy into that?
A little bit.
You do buy into that?
I mean, we don't know where the money's being spent right now in the CPD's budget situation. So, I mean, look, any entity's going to issue a press release to justify what they're doing to some extent.
Fair.
But that being said, I don't buy the narrative that they're elevating the facts. I mean, the facts are we are having a higher rate of shootings.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's a disheartening fact, regardless of a motive behind pushing the fact. And it's something that should be called out to the public's attention. And hopefully the actors on the ground, not those being the police necessarily, but community leaders, church leaders, elders in a community, young men and women, parents, what have you, that know guys and gals running around, with their firearms and having conflicts. Hopefully the attention raises some conversations internally where people pull back and they realize just how risky certain conduct can be and how it can escalate in a way that ends up having people killed. And I don't think the police are inherently going to stop that. Typically, they are responding in light of that. It's going to require the community as a whole to bring attention to the matter to be able to stop the problem.
Well said. Well said. You're on point today. Final question for you before unless you want to hang. Bullish or bearish Central Virginia, Charlottesville, and Albemarle County, and why?
Oh, I'm very bullish on the area. I think I always have been. I mean, it's no different than... I'm bullish because I think that there's a lot of pent-up demand from around Virginia to come here.
Me too.
I think we're already seeing that with real estate. I think people from Northern Virginia or D.C. are looking to flee. And, we're just outside of those definitions, thankfully.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to be that. And hopefully the added attraction to move maybe to more Central Virginia, hopefully that doesn't result in converting us into some type of giant sprawl.
Fredericksburg.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm bullish because we also have a lot to offer. And I think we will continue to have a lot to offer from a cultural standpoint, from the beauty here, from the spirit of entrepreneurship and startups. But generally, yeah, I'd be buying in this area. And when I say that, meaning bull or bear, I think we're moving in the right direction. And as we started off, as restrictions are pulled, I think you're only going to see it get stronger.
Your kid is due when?
In a month from today.
Month from today, he's going to be a father.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You were strong in the interview and speaking format. You've picked a very good career.
I appreciate that.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
And a pleasure. Judah Wickower, Elliott Harding right there. Kelly Jackson is next. She's in studio. She's got cocktails. Elliott, this is Kelly. Kelly, this is Elliott over here. KJ, we can get you on set when you are ready with the cocktails. We are very grateful. Elliott Harding, I hope you will see more of on this network and on this show. He's a very bright, sharp, intelligent guy. Knows Central Virginia inside and out. Ooh, canned cocktails.
Canned cocktail today.
Thank you, Kelly Jackson. You have a good one. Good
Nice to meet you.
Good to see you, Elliott. So,
Ooh, we're trying a rosé in a can today.
very nice. Who's this from?
I don't know.
Rosé in a can.
Let's try it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
One day removed from Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
So we're just going to call it, you know what, we don't have to call it anything. We're just going to call it having a beverage at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Cheers.
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 Let's try it. I haven't had it.
What did you, thank you.
Okay, I'll drink it.
Yeah.
It's cold. It's wet.
What did you make of the governor today saying that restrictions June 15th could be completely lifted, potentially even the mask mandate, if cases keep going down? So he's saying,
Jerry, you know how I feel about the masks.
I know. See, you're torn. That's why I want to ask you, because you're a businesswoman with 16 point of sales, but you're also a germaphobe.
Oh, yes.
You're a germaphobe.
Yes. Like if I was gonna get a disinfectant wipe and like wipe down.
All right, that's why they're there specifically for you.
Keep it away from me.
That's Kelly's stand. It's what's the hand sanitizer,
Tissues.
disinfectant wipe, and tissues. That's Kelly's stand.
I know, it has to be. Listen, I think until more people get vaccinated,
Okay.
I think lifting the mask mandate is not a good idea. Because for businesses, people in customer service, right, they don't know if you're vaccinated or not. And what happens if they haven't had the chance to be vaccinated yet for some reason? I mean, I don't know. Like, Judah's not vaccinated. Judah. I don't know if I want him not wearing a mask.
You're kind of calling them out right here.
I do it all the time.
Is that calling someone out now, do you think?
No, I think everyone has the choice.
There you go.
Everyone has a choice to get it. But I'll tell you what, my kid will be first in line next week when the vaccine becomes available for her.
So she's how old?
13.
13. And next week she's getting vaccinated.
No, I mean, when they approve it, they're supposed to approve it next week. But you better believe I will be hounding my pediatrician on an hourly basis until she gets it.
Well, and one of the things we want to do with this interview is to highlight some of the trials and tribulations that your family's had from a health standpoint.
Sure. Because next week is a really important week for us.
Yeah, please.
For my family.
Take the show, please.
Oh, sure. So, Judah, did you get those pictures?
He does.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so next week, UVA Children's Hospital usually does a big, very lovely gala, and they raise a ton of money that could go to all things pediatric research, cancer, you name it. But obviously, they can't have a gala.
Sure.
So next week is going to be a week of giving.
Woo!
Very exciting. So far, I'm pulling up some stats. They have so far $60,000 in pledges that will be matched if people donate.
Photos on screen.
Oh, yeah. So my daughter, that's Rory. She's 7. That was in January before COVID hit. She's on a CPAP machine.
Yeah.
It was very scary. There was a crash cart in our room. She was in the ICU for a week.
That's her daughter.
Yep, she got better. We were in there for a whole week, got better. And UVA hooked us up with an amazing pulmonologist who we'd already kind of been working with. Dr. Teague, I love him. Shout out to Dr. Teague. And Nurse Jackie, our favorite nurse.
Okay.
They created this amazing plan.
Okay.
Got her on this drug called Zeller. And Now, almost her asthma is completely taken away. Her allergies are almost completely taken away. And she's doing gymnastics and backflips like 24 hours a day without using her inhaler.
That's amazing.
So to go from like a CPAP machine a year later, you know.
It's a huge deal.
Is a huge deal.
Yeah. She can be a kid.
She can be a kid. She can play sports
Yeah.
now. She can play basketball. She's
Yeah.
asking for a basketball hoop. Like all the things she couldn't have done before.
Sure.
But UVA Children's is really near and dear to our heart. So next week they're asking people to donate. On Monday's show, we have
Women Changing Our World.
Women Changing Our World.
10:15 a.m.
10:15. We have an amazing ICU doctor coming on to talk to us.
Okay.
And my family and business, we will be matching up to $5,000 for anybody who wants to donate during the show.
That's amazing.
So it's exciting, but you
Yeah.
can donate. I don't want to get it wrong. You can give online at virginia.edu /all hands on deck. You can personally message me for information. We're going to put it on Women Changing the World website. It's tax deductible.
It's a no-brainer.
So, up to $60,000. Well, now it's going to be 65 because I'm giving 5. So if you have $1, we can turn it into 2. If you want to give 50, we can turn it into 100.
Can you put into perspective how dynamic the UVA Children's Hospital is, the whole team?
Sure. I mean, kind of. I mean, I think we should ask the doctor on Monday, right?
Yeah.
No, but they do so much research, and they're using technology in different ways than we've ever seen before. So right now, we're working on a project with them, with our donations through Panera, to create this kind of ginormous mobile bus that can go to rural communities that are going to help transplant patients with their follow-up checkups, other children who might not be able to drive 2 hours or parents can't take off work to get blood work or x-rays. So they're working on that, trying to reach all of Virginia. Rory, my daughter, actually is going to be a part of this new thing for pulmonology, where they're giving us an iPad. I track her breathing and stuff every day and, put stats in. And then they're giving me a Bluetooth stethoscope.
Whoa.
So if she's having any problems breathing, I can just FaceTime the doctor. He tells me where to put it, and he can hear what I'm hearing.
Stop.
Right?
That is amazing.
Right. So, like, if I take her on vacation and she's having asthma problems, I just message the doctor, he logs in, can hear, and prescribe whatever we need, so we don't even have to go into the hospital.
That is amazing.
I know. So it's very exciting.
Yeah. So Monday, Women Changing
Yeah.
Our World, 10:15 a.m. You have an ICU doctor.
No, a NICU.
A NICU doctor.
Yeah.
From UVA.
From UVA.
Fantastic.
Talking about what she does, and her husband also works at UVA and kind of promoting this giving. And then someone from UVA will be here in the studio. So anybody who wants to log in, we'll be keeping track of that. I'll be giving you shout outs. I'll be giving out Panera gift cards. I'll be giving out all kinds of things for people who want to match our donation.
Fantastic. So Rory right now is what? The most amazing girl ever?
Yeah, she's 7.
Yeah.
Very different than my oldest, who
Yeah.
wants to be a trauma surgeon.
Your oldest is more an old soul?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Rory's more of a hipster.
Okay. A 7-year-old hipster.
Yeah.
Very cool.
She loves to be outside. She saves every animal in our house.
Okay. Cool.
She's an animal lover.
How's mom doing seeing 7-year-old Rory dominating life
I
and
love
healthy?
It. It's so great. I mean,
Right?
it changes our life, right? Because I would, she would sleep in my bed because I'd have to monitor her breathing constantly. Now she's sleeping in a big girl room.
Whoa! Rory's got a big girl room.
Yeah.
How about this topic for you?
I love it. What
So Keith put on the feed, our friend Keith Smith, that the Brazos general manager
Yeah.
said that Brazos in Ix Park,
Which I love.
Me too, amazing.
Great margaritas.
Unbelievable margaritas, some of the best in town.
I agree.
Very good call. The Brazos in Ix Park, their Cinco de Mayo, which was yesterday, was 2x better, 2 times better in sales than the Cinco de Mayo in 2019 before COVID.
Jerry, we talked about this last week. My sales are going up too.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful. But hey, I need employees, Jerry.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. He is so short-staffed.
Everyone.
He is offering $20 an hour to people work back of the house at Brazos and cannot find staff.
I am telling you.
Wilson Ritchie, and then I'll throw this to you. Wilson Ritchie, I'm going to go to his Facebook page and read this verbatim. So Wilson Ritchie, guys, is the owner of the Whiskey Jar, Cafe Frank.
Can you find people either?
Well, wait till you hear this. Cafe Frank, the Whiskey Jar. He owns the Bebedero. He owns the Milkman. He has the most restaurants under ownership in this area, second to this lady and her family. So he's number 2 from a brand ownership in the restaurant space. He on Facebook yesterday.
Right.
I'm hiring executive chefs.
I saw that.
60 to 70K. Message me.
I know.
What the hell is going on?
No one wants, I don't know. No one has employees.
Brazos Tacos can't get people to stuff tacos and clean the back of
can't
the house
either.
for $20 an hour.
I can't either.
And he can't find an executive chef at 60 to 70K.
I know. We just hired a new manager. It's not, like the whole company doesn't know yet, so
Okay.
I won't say which location.
Okay.
And he got a sweet deal. But he was very good. He's a really great manager. We're excited to have him. But we had to pay him a boatload.
So he's, would that be an individual unit general manager,
Yeah.
store manager?
Yeah.
Yeah? Are people relocating or are you hiring? When do you give up hiring within the community is the question.
We always
She
try
has
to
1,500 employees.
We always try to hire within the community.
I know you do.
I mean,
But
and
what
we always
happens-
love to like grow.
Right. I know you do.
Um,
But what happens if you can't?
we've never not been able to until
Okay,
now.
so this is the first time.
This is the first.
Right. Do you consider bringing outside of Central Virginia or wherever the location is?
Right.
Because you have Paneras all over Virginia.
Yeah.
Do you consider bringing outside the community help in? Is that even a possibility?
I mean, I don't even like.
Can you
who's
do
gonna-
that?
I don't know.
Is there the
I mean,
migrant?
maybe for like a manager, like a district manager or something like that. Obviously, we would consider that.
Is there the
Right.
migrant worker of the quick serve restaurant space?
I don't know, but I need to look into
You
it.
need to
because
find
I need
these.
so many employees. But then think of this. So I was talking to our operations partner.
Okay.
Who's amazing.
Okay.
Yesterday, and we were having this discussion.
Okay.
I was like, what are we gonna do? So then I was like, You know, PVCC
Yeah.
is a great community college, and they're offering free, like school.
Free tuition and no fees for the fall semester and spring semester
Right.
for anyone who maintains a 2.0 GPA or higher.
Right. So I was talking. I was like, geez, let's partner with PVCC.
Okay.
And hire people and offer to pay for their books.
Okay.
And we will work around your school schedule.
Okay.
I promise you, if you are in high school or in college right now and you want a job at one of our locations,
Well,
I will work around whatever schedule you might have.
the fees, the books, and the tuition is free now.
Oh, well,
It's
then
free
we'll come
for
up
the
with
fall
something
and the
else.
spring.
We'll come up with another incentive because we want people to get a college education.
Okay. Okay.
Right. They have a great program for people who want to learn about restaurants.
Sure.
And frankly, I would love them to go to PVCC, get a degree, come work with me, and move up the ladder.
How often has that happened within your employment chain? Does that happen?
Oh, to move up the ladder?
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
all the time.
Well, where they go to college or community college, get an education, and come back.
Yeah, it's happened.
Yeah.
But I think we can just really emphasize that. Like, we're a great place to work. We match your 401ks up
Yeah.
to a certain amount.
Yeah.
We have good health benefits.
You're selling it well. I appreciate your hustle and chutzpah here. Throw this to you. Here's a very pointed question.
Okay.
Can the general manager, who you said negotiated a very nice package,
Yeah.
the general manager of an individual unit, let's say that unit is in Albemarle County,
Yeah.
can that general manager afford to live in Albemarle County?
Yeah, they do.
They do.
Most of them do.
Okay.
But our manager at Barracks right now, who's been with us forever, Richard Frakes, he's amazing. He lives out, what is that? Lake Monticello.
Okay.
But we have other managers that live in town.
Okay. So
For
that's
sure.
impressive.
Yeah, I mean, we pay well. We pay well.
I think you've emphasized that. You've absolutely
No, but
emphasized that.
is everyone just not working?
I think that's what's happening.
And what are they doing?
I think collecting money from the government,
And doing what?
either under the table side business where you're getting paid in cash, or doing nothing. I think honestly that's what's happening, because it's not just you guys in restaurants that can't find people to work. It's like a lot of industries and places of business and work.
Okay, but let's go deep here first.
Sure, please.
Outside of Charlottesville.
Yeah.
So, if the government decides,
Uh-huh.
is it in September that they're going to decide like stimulus money and unemployment, like a lot of things I think are being voted on.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
If they vote to extend this unemployment and give bigger stimulus packages,
Okay.
My guess, and I want to hear yours.
Okay.
It will ruin the restaurant industry because if we're having problems here in, like at Panera and all over Virginia, people can't get employees. What are we going to do?
I mean, I think what you guys are going to do, I mean, the mom and pop restaurant is going to probably have to whittle down their menu where they need less labor to produce the menu.
Or change hours.
Or change hours, or make it less table service and more counter service, and then carry the tray to your table.
Right.
So they need less front of the house staff.
Yeah. We're starting tipping.
Well, I mean, I think one of the fatal flaws, I'll throw this to you.
Okay.
I think one of the fatal flaws of paying folks to stay home and not work is it reinforces the class system in America. Someone who stays home and collects a check from the government, yes, may not be working, yes, may have a good quality of life because they are not working, but their peers who are working and are saving money are getting ahead.
Right.
That's safe to say.
For sure.
I think the other problem we have is, a problem I'm more concerned about, is what appears to be massive inflation on the horizon. Everything is getting to be more expensive because
Right.
we're dumping so much money into the American economy and just giving people bags of money. Here's $1,400.
Right.
Here's $1,400 for your 2 kids.
So-
oh, you have a second kid? Here's another 14. You have a husband? Here's $1,400.
Well, I mean, I'm not getting that.
Right.
You're
No,
not getting
I
that.
know, but I'm saying a lot are. Yeah.
A lot are.
Yeah.
So, okay, when the first stimulus checks came out, I know somebody who owns a motorcycle, like sells motorcycles, owns this shop in Richmond. His sales a week after those stimulus checks went up quadrupled from the year before.
Well,
People are buying motorcycles.
The motorcycle business is crushing it because if you think about it,
You're stuck at home. Where you
well, you're outside and
Right.
you're on a motorcycle, and if you're riding a motorcycle, you're going to be 6 feet apart, even if you're riding in a pack of motorcycle.
Right.
You know, mountain biking is killing it right now. Bicycle riding is killing it.
Right.
Because if you're on a bicycle, even if you're riding with your friends, you're still outside and 6 feet apart from everybody.
Unless you're like Tour de France, where they're running.
Right, next to each, unless you're Lance Armstrong. And neither you nor I
No.
are Lance Armstrong.
No.
And Lance Armstrong was shooting needles in his arm.
Right, so
And,
there's
and
that.
He, yeah, right? And he was
and
going
he
out.
sold those plastic bracelets
Yeah,
that said Live Strong.
Yeah, Live Strong. And he was dating, was it Mary Kate or Ashley Olsen?
No, he was dating Sheryl Crow.
He was also dating one of the Olsen twins.
Ugh, but one of them married like a really old guy.
Yeah, she married a
Brazilian.
venture capitalist, yeah, that has ties to the Hamptons.
Right.
Yeah, and she's now a philanthropist. But still, you don't think the Olsens are a catch? Mary Kate or Ashley, you don't think
No,
it's a
I
catch?
think they would be a catch. I didn't think the guy was a catch, but I guess if he has billions, anything goes.
Well, Sheryl Crow is a catch.
For sure, Sheryl Crow.
Right?
Yeah.
Who would be more of a catch, Sheryl Crow or Mary Kate Olsen or Ashley Olsen?
The Olsen twins, they have more money.
But
and they're younger.
But don't you think Sheryl Crow, okay, those are two really strong points you made there. But Sheryl Crow is more dynamic and talented.
Right, but she hasn't put out anything forever. She's probably already spent her millions.
The Olsen twins, they made their money by "You Got It, Dude" and cut it out.
I know, I
on
love
Full
it.
House.
No, and then they did like a clothing
parlayed
line,
that
another
into a Kmart clothing line.
They
What
did
is?
it?
What is? They're sitting on Roy. You know what?
They're
the
not collecting a check, Jerry. I'll
okay,
tell you
yes
that.
they are. Yes they are. The Olsen twins are the 2021 equivalent of restaurant workers sitting at home collecting a check and not working.
Yes.
All the Olsen twins are doing is collecting a royalty check
Check.
from Full House.
Hey,
That's the restaurant worker that's not
They
working.
have a lot of investments, I think. But still.
The Kmart clothing line?
No, they have makeup and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, they do.
They're like at Paris Fashion Week and they have stuff clothes, I'm assuming.
Not as big as
Well, no. Do you know who's the smartest of all of those people?
Kylie Jenner.
Kylie Jenner and Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, well, Kim Kardashian,
She makes billions of dollars for doing nothing.
evidently she's going to law school.
She put herself through law school.
She put a photo on Instagram of her studying for law school in her bikini. And I was like, what is going on here?
Well, I think in California, you don't have to go to school. You can do it yourself.
You take the bar.
You can take the bar and do an internship or something. Anyway, people think she's stupid. I think she's brilliant. If you can be a billionaire and not do anything,
I don't think Kim Kardashian's stupid at all.
I don't either.
I think she's brilliant.
She's going to lose her ass in that divorce. But now we're going down a rabbit hole.
Wait. Oh. No, we're not talking physically. You're talking about with the divorce to Kanye is also a billionaire.
I know, but I don't know.
You're saying
split that up.
I would think there would be a prenup. At that level, don't you think at that level there's a prenup?
I would assume.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would think at that level is pretty nice. You're wondering who would be wealthier, Kanye or Kim?
Right.
It's got to be Kim, right?
I don't know.
It's got to be Kim. Well,
People are now tuning out, Jerry.
No.
You're losing viewers.
Kim. It's got to be Kim.
I mean, I guess. And Kanye really lost his thing. Hey, what changed in here?
Kanye lost his mind.
Yeah. He's sick. I mean, he has bipolar.
He's
So
bipolar.
that's like a real thing.
We're getting ready for the boardroom table. The boardroom table is going to be twice as long as this table. We put the lights back here.
Okay. First of all,
Yeah.
the lighting is much better. We look a lot better.
Okay. There we go.
I mean, it looked like you were almost airbrushed when I was watching on my way here.
It's the lights are behind us now.
Yeah, it's better.
Okay, you like it better?
Yeah.
I was going to bring lights over here once the boardroom table comes.
Let's check that out.
Okay, sorry, KJ. Okay, I will check.
And Judah, stop using bad pictures of me in promos. I only use the one where I'm in a black dress with red glasses.
I will make sure to check with the co-star of Women Changing Our World before doing any improvements or enhancements to the I Love CVille Network.
Yes.
Okay, I will make sure I do that.
I still think you and Judah need
I know,
a mural up there.
No one sees that part of the office. No one sees that part of the studio.
When you do a Judah cam.
Judah Cam is shooting this way.
Oh.
Yeah. So, all right, why don't we close with this? Anything else?
What are you doing for Mother's Day for your lovely wife?
So I can say this because I know she's at the zoo right now. So I do not think she's watching. I'm getting her some, what are those cookies called from Dolce de Leche CVille? Alfajores. Do you have the photo that you can put on screen? She loves this. You don't. If
Judah's
not,
like,
I understand.
no.
Yeah, I'm getting her some delicious cookies that she loves. You know
nice.
what? It's what you said. You know what my wife primarily wants for Mother's Day?
To be away from you and your son.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Friday she's getting a babysitter
So good.
away from Trey, and then Saturday morning a babysitter away from Trey. And me. Like, that's prime. Dude, so when the moms on Mother's Day say, what do you want? I want to be away from you.
Yes.
Is that a good sign?
Yes.
Is that a good sign?
I mean, listen, during COVID, and I was with the kids all day. My husband's working at home. I'm around
Constantly,
the family 24 hours a day.
You OD'd on family.
OD. They were like, are we going to have family dinner? I'm like,
hell no.
I made it. It's on the stove. Eat it.
Take your lean cuisine and go to your room. Yeah. Is that what you told them? That's
not
what you told cuisine. Rory.
No, yes, I did.
Take your lean cuisine and go to your room?
Yes. No, not lean cuisine. I would make something. And then she'd be like, okay, well, I'm going to go watch YouTube and eat it. I'm like, great. I've already talked to you for 20 hours.
Oh, the cookies. He's got the cookies. Look at Judah. He's going to put them on screen here. Isn't it weird how kids are now not watching actual shows?
Right?
And they watch, those are the Alfajores that we're going to have here. They're watching, some of the YouTube stuff that I see Trey watching is,
Weird.
kids playing with toys.
I know.
Or, kids playing video games.
I know. That's what Rory watches. Or she watches...
Isn't it weird?
Kids opening toys.
Yeah. Kids opening toys and playing with toys on YouTube. My kid loves that. Or kids playing video games. My kid watches other kids.
We literally have every gaming system. Why don't you just play the game?
Well, and have you gotten my kid's 3. He can't really talk. Okay. Your kids are older. They can give you a reason.
It's like a reality show, apparently.
That's what it is?
I mean, that's what my oldest and youngest say. It's like they're watching a show. I'm like, but no one's people are just running around. I don't understand.
Yeah, I do not get it. I do not get it. Did they say the same thing? They may have said the same thing to me. They're like, my parents, I probably said at one time, why does our 15-year-old son keep sneaking down the stairs and watching the squiggly channel Cinemax all the time? I know.
We know why you did that, Jerry.
When my mom turned on the news all the time, it was on squiggly channel 156. Why is it always on 156,
Mom,
Jerry?
when you turn off the TV, it just goes there.
I have no idea, Mom. When you hit off, it must have jumped to 156. I have no idea. KJ, you are the best. The rosé is pretty good.
It's not bad for a can. I'm going on a vineyard tour tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Tell us.
So, yeah. I'm doing it through...
Mother's Day.
Somehow
you've got Jamie Schwartz on your Mother's Day vineyard tour. Yeah. How did that work out?
Well, because I'm with Jamie all the time anyway. And frankly, I think my mom probably loves her a little bit more than me. So it's like double team.
Your mom loves Jamie more than you.
No, she doesn't. Well,
okay. Your mom's watching. Your mom's watching.
Mom, yeah. No, she loves us both.
Okay.
So, I don't know. So it'll be fun to go out for a girls' day and drink some wine.
Is it a CVille Tours?
Yeah.
And you feel comfortable, completely consumer confident?
For sure.
Going?
Yeah.
Good.
Because I'm vaccinated, everyone's vaccinated that I'm going with. I think the driver's vaccinated. We'll still all wear masks.
How about this question? How many of your 1,500 employees, how many openings do you have of 1,500?
Probably half.
Shut the front door.
Yeah, probably.
750 openings?
Yeah, maybe.
Dang.
I mean, I don't know the exact number of employees. I don't do payroll. But no, we need at least 20 to 30 employees per location.
Dude, is
20 or 30.
COVID may not be the demise of restaurants. It may be the labor shortage. That was the collateral damage of COVID. That is the demise of restaurants.
Restaurants can't pay $50 an hour. I'm sorry, it's just not. Unless you want, like, to go to Fitzroy and pay $200 for a fried chicken meal. Right? I mean, and people are saying in the comments, which I totally understand and appreciate, restaurant workers should be paid a fair wage. I totally understand that. But to put it in perspective, guess how much your kid's teacher gets paid an hour when you, like, split it all up? Like $3 an hour.
Well,
I mean,
I'll tell you what. The mayor of Charlottesville, Mayor Nakai Walker, she did a post and she extrapolated the hours she put into the job. I mean, she works extremely hard at it.
Sure.
She makes $20,000 a year as the mayor. She says, when I extrapolated my time and what I was paid, I'm getting paid like 11 cents an hour.
I won't comment.
11 cents, you will not comment. You're taking the high road. Kelly Jackson's taking the high road on
There's
that.
so much I want to say.
There's so much.
When the mics are off, I'll talk.
But 11 cents, but to your point, that's to your point, right?
Yeah.
With the teacher point that you made.
Right.
Well, I mean,
Maybe think of a garbage man.
unless what ends up happening is federal government, Commonwealth government, state government, governors, Richmond delegates, whatever the hell it is, they say, we're going to mandate minimum $15 an hour for restaurant workers.
That's happening.
What could happen as a result of that is some of these restaurants will not be able to afford labor.
That's correct.
They will close.
Yes.
The ones that survive should conceivably gain more market share. And if they gain more market share, then that salary could help potentially cover the additional labor costs.
I mean, people don't want to work now for $15 an hour. So I don't know.
Brazos GM just said I'm paying $20 an hour and I can't find anybody to work.
Mellow Mushroom can't find people either.
Wilson Ritchie's paying up to $70K for a chef,
I know.
executive chef. I mean, I don't know what to say.
I wish I could cook.
I
would be over there.
Right.
Chefing it up.
Yeah. Well, we see what you did with the hot dogs, so we don't need you at Cafe Frank. Kelly Jackson.
No, okay, fair. That's so fair.
Monday is a big show. One more promo for Monday show.
Tune in. We're going to be talking to an amazing doctor. It's a week of giving for UVA Children's. It's really important. They're important to our community. They're important to our children, families. I'll be matching up to $5,000. My family and my business will be. So please tune in. It's going to be a cool show. And if you have a few extra bucks that you want to give, I will match it.
There you go. Monday, 10:15 a.m. Judah Wickower, you heard that? He did.
I just got it.
Okay.
That's awesome.
You could have said that to
I
her
just got
after the show.
Yeah, you could have. Well, I called him out for the shot, so that's
I know.
kind of fair.
I think that's the return singer.
That was fair.
He is.
Yeah,
He says that's.
that was
Look
fair.
at that shitty grin over there from Judah.
I
right
blame
there.
Ryan from UVA who's watching. He just sent me the info. So.
Oh, he did? Okay, there we go. Thank you, Ryan. For Kelly, for Judah, I'm Jerry. This is the I Love CVille Show. We are back tomorrow, Friday, with Real Talk at 10:15 a.m. And then our show tomorrow at 12:30. Thank you for joining us.
Happy
Cheers.
Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday.
Thursday.
Cheers. Judah, thank you. You guys have a good afternoon. Take care. Bye.
That was fun.
Kelly, it's always fun.
Yeah.
I thought it was excellent.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Easy
Nicely
peasy.
done. Judah, let us know when